Valerie, Ad, Valerie Lee Adder Stevenson, Shepherdson, said he, meaning Dale Wolfley, was truly the embodiment of mountaineer and the mountaineer spirit. Frank Sear says using this phrase, true mountaineer, elevates a mountaineer to a level of remarkability. The adjective true carries with it an attribution of authenticity and genuineness, and it also describes a person whose behavior is consistent and unwavering. Those who carry the mantle are extraordinary, not only because of how they comport themselves, but because others accord the badge to them. Frank Fear, What It Means to Be a True Mountaineer, the Sports Column, October 28th, 2023.
Del Wolfley, for me, not only was my teammate, but he was my mountaineer brother, a true friend that embodies everything that it means to be a true mountaineer. From the way he spoke to the way he treated people, his character, his morals, and everything that encompasses being a great person on and off the football field. He will be missed by many and is missed by many. That is my guy. Love you, Del. Let's go Mountaineers. Boom.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey! Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die, and this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
What's up out there in Mountaineer Country? I'm Joey Foster. It's great to have you guys with us. I've got with me one of my great friends, a true mountaineer himself, Mr. Eugene Napoleon. Eugene, how you doing, man? You ready to go? Oklahoma State's on board.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on the platform, Joey. Thank you. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you being here. We got somebody else with us too, and he's capable of bringing himself in if he'd like to come in. I guess he wants to. Tell you what, you type in private chat if you need me to bring you in. He may not be on the right platform. But anyway, man, I'm excited about today. Oklahoma State. This game has always excited me because Oklahoma State's kind of had our number, since joining the Big 12. They literally just had our number. So this game has always had a little something special to it to me. This is the other Oklahoma team, right? So
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, Joey. Over the years, I feel the kind of feel the same way you do. Oklahoma State has had our number, but for some odd reason, and people may think I'm crazy, especially here in Jersey. I know for sure this Mountaineer football team, I feel a little bit different about it traveling to Stillwater, more so than I have over the last few years. And I just think today is the day that we get everything clicking. I think today is the day that we iron out some of the mistakes. We kind of get clicking in all three phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. And I really believe that this is the day we kind of turn the page on our Oklahoma State, West Virginia rivalry. I really believe that. Something in my gut tells me it's going to be a big day for the Mountaineers in Stillwater.
Shane, what are your thoughts on the day?
Oh, well, it's good to see you, Eugene. It's been a minute, but I think West Virginia, I can't, we talk a lot of crap about the coaching and we give them a lot of heat, but you got to give them their credit for keeping these kids' head where they should be. Because last week, it could have been disastrous. I've seen it, in basketball. I've seen it in high school. I've seen it in high school football. And Eugene, if I'm off course, smack me. But you got to give Neil Brown credit where credit is due. He kept these kids focused. I think they're going to be focused. I think they're due this week. And you have to go with the feel. And the feel right now is West Virginia's on an upstream. Oklahoma State is not.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I will say this, though. When you talk about focused, there's no team in America that's going to be more focused this week than Oklahoma State because they have looked so bad. They can't lose another Big 12 game. Not only that, if they would have won last week, I'd be a lot happier going into this week because I'd felt like we could have surprised them. But they lost last week, and they're not happy, and they're wanting to be. They're focused as well, and you know that coaching staff out there, Mike Gundy. So
yeah. No, I agree with you, but I'll also say this. I think when a team loses the way that they've been losing, that's not typical of a Mike Gundy, team and staff. They're a very well-coached football team. Usually, they play well. When you make mistakes, they capitalize off your mistakes, which is indicative of a well-coached football team. But for some odd reason, I don't know. I think they'll be pressing a little bit too hard. I think they'll be doing things a little bit that's uncharacteristic of them just to prove a point that they can get back on track against WVU. I don't think it's going to work today. I really don't. This will be the first time in a long time that I believe they'll go down and they'll lose probably 2 or 3 games in a row before they get back on track. And, I don't really care about how many games they lose in a row as long as we start winning our games in a row.
yeah, really. Really, and it starts today with 2 in a row, right? We haven't won 2 in a row, so it starts today, and we're back to that win one, lose one, win one, lose one. It's time to win one, right? So,
Absolutely.
Looking forward to this. So Ollie Gordon has not had a good year at all, right? But like I was talking about with West Virginia and Oklahoma State, the last 10 years, the average score has been Oklahoma State 34.2, West Virginia 21.8. We've lost by 2 touchdowns on an average over the last 10 years. And that's even with 2 wins in there. So, it's been some lopsided affairs sometimes.
Well, the swing of it is because usually if you go back and look at some of those games, it's the mistakes. It's the mistakes that we make, again, that they capitalize off of. It swings either from a 7 to 14 point swing or sometimes somewhere between a 7 to 10 point swing. And in games like this, it's really all you need, to be honest with you, because the rivalry is what it is. You make a mistake and allow them to capitalize off of it, and they just keep rolling. We can't afford to have that happen today. For some odd reason, I don't think it is. I really think Coach Brown and his staff will have, the Mountaineers ready to go. They're not going to play mistake-free football. Let me be clear about that. It's hard to do. especially going into Stillwater. But my point is, I don't think they're going to make the colossal mistakes that we made in the past that will allow them to jump all over us and we can't get back in the swing of things. I really think that we're going to surprise a lot of people today, and I think we'll put college football on notice that Mountaineer football is on the uptick, and we'll be able to handle our business throughout the conference schedule. And I think it starts today in Stillwater.
Yeah, there's only one worse defensive team in the Big 12, and that's Oklahoma State, really, when you look at this. I mean, secondary is what I'm talking about. Their secondary is very bad, and their defensive line is not near as stout as ours is. I will say that. So, because I think we have a really stout defensive line, been getting a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks, been getting a lot of tackles for loss, looking good up front. Secondary's been questionable. But today, we're going against a secondary and a defensive line that's questionable in Oklahoma State. So I think our running backs should have a really, really big day. It should be a day like there used to be back in '88 when there was Eugene and all them running backs back there were going Johnson and wow, them guys were good.
A.B. Brown, Craig Taylor.
Oh yeah, we had a plethora of running backs, didn't we? I mean, we were 5 deep in running back. It seemed like.
Absolutely. I'll never forget one of the Dallas Cowboy running back coaches back then he was enamored with what we had in our running back room because he said, "How are you going to keep all these guys happy?" You know what I mean? But but when you play for each other, it's not about who gets the carries. It's not about who gets the yards. And that's what we talked about earlier, Joey, as far as being a true Mountaineer. You are really rooting for your brother to do well. Whoever's in the game, you want them to do well because it was one common goal. We're playing for the state. We're playing for our great university. We're playing for the city of Morgantown. We're playing for West Virginia. We're playing for the names on our back. It's not just about a singular, I got to get 1,000 yards this year. No, we're going to collectively get 1,000 yards to help us reach this one common goal. We're winning for the great state of West Virginia, man. And as long as these young people understand that, that's what being a Mountaineer is. It's not about your individual stats.
Amen. Eugene, to ride on that train, I'll tell you, you look at Colorado and you see a bunch of kids that are upset that kid scored and not me. And you look at a team like West Virginia where the guy that broke the block or the guy that freed him on the corner on the wheel route and made the play happen, they're celebrating more than the kid actually scored a touchdown. And that right there, my friend, is what a good coach picks up on. And that's that wind blowing, and you got the energy, you got the mojo. Those kids that are just like looking at stats, that doesn't mean shit.
No.
I agree.
I'm going to tell you something. I went through my years at WVU. None of our backs had 1,000-yard season. None of us. Now, had we went someplace else and average 18 to 20 carries a game, there's no doubt in my mind each one of us had the ability to have 1,000-yard season. But to be completely honest, it wasn't about that. We knew when we came to WVU what this was all about. A collective team effort to win a national championship for the university. That's what it was, honestly. So I never looked at my stats to say, oh man, I should have went here, I should have went there. I transferred to West Virginia with the goal of helping the university to win a national championship. It wasn't about, because if that were the case, I'd have went to Oklahoma.
I will say this. I'll say this, Eugene. You're exactly right. I feel really good about this team. Like maybe not as good as I did going into the '88 season. I mean, obviously, but I'm just saying, I felt really good preseason about this team. I felt like this is a team that was going to bring us back. And I felt like and I even felt like we would lose to Penn State, but I still felt like this was the team to bring us back, right? Other than Penn State, we've only had one really bad game. That was Pitt, and we were leading that with 3 minutes to go. That we were ahead by 10. We were ahead by 10, and let them come back. So I look at that, and I think to myself, okay, I'm not going to be down on this team so bad right now. I have been. I have to admit that I have been the last couple of weeks. Today's going to tell me a story. Today's going to tell me a story. Is this the team I thought it was at the beginning of the season? Because I think they are. And I think they've got the drive, and they want to bring home a Big 12 championship. And that starts today right here, unfortunately, on the road out in Steele. And Steele is one of the toughest places to play in the Big 12. So I went back and forth on this game and looked at the lines and stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, here's what I think. I'm not going to predict the score. I'm going to tell you, take the over. I don't care what the over is. Take the over on this game because one of these defensive secondaries could stop each other. So this game could be 45-44. And that's how I feel. So, that's how I feel. And that's not betting advice. So I'm just letting you know, don't go out and do that. Just that's what I would do.
No, I hear you, Joey. I mean, unfortunately, and I do say unfortunately, humbly, you're 100% right as far as both secondaries are struggling right now. But I'll say it again. I think it's the team that can get after the quarterback, that can make the quarterback make mistakes, throw errant passes, put the ball in bad and poor positions that each one of the other can take advantage of. And I just hope that we can get 1 or 2 picks in this game, 2 or 3 sacks in this game, 2 or 3 big plays on special teams, be consistent in the running game that will then open up our passing game on offense. I think we can do all those things. I really do. And the great thing about it is this is the time to do it. You're right. You go into Stillwater and you beat them at home, at their home, it sends a resounding message because everybody knows it's tough to play in Stillwater. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you something, Eugene. You were running back. Did you ever have 149 yards in a single quarter?
No.
Do you know who did? Ollie Gordon last year against West Virginia, that fourth quarter. He is alive. Yeah. That was his coming out party.
He did. But listen, let me tell you something. And again, it goes back to that whole pride thing, right? I'm sure Neil Brown, that has to be plastered somewhere in WVU's locker room. I'm sure it is. That's not going to happen today. That cannot happen today. No. I remember that. Yeah, I remember the game. He's a talented back. Don't get me wrong. He's great in the passing game. He's a talented running back. I don't see this guy having that kind of impact today. I don't.
Shane, I cut you off with my question. I apologize. Go ahead, Shane.
No, I tell you what, it's just, it's a statement. It'll be a national statement because West Virginia, despite that, you take that 4 minutes out of the Pitt game, we're talking about a top 25 team. Okay. Mm-hmm. People forget that. They're so short-sighted. It's like throw the baby out with the bathwater. Come on, guys. They're 4 minutes away from being a top 25 team. They still got their key players. The injury bug has not really bit a lot of players on the West Virginia team. It's nicked them. Maybe some kids got some hurt feelings, but they put a Band-Aid on that shit and they're back in there. They're balling. So this week in Stillwater, West Virginia, and I'm not one to make statements, but I think West Virginia is actually going to win this game. I was questioning it 2 weeks ago, but after that Kansas win, I feel a lot better about where the ball club is. And mentally, I think they have what it takes. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world if these kids get down on themselves. And I was questioning that last year after that Oklahoma loss, and that Houston loss sealed the deal for me. So now, I had my temper tantrum after the Pitt loss, but then, 3 days later, I had the video where, hey guys, the sky isn't falling. We're in good shape. That's all I got to say.
We are, and we talk about penalties, not penalties, but the injuries. The most injury-prone team in the Big 12 is this year Cincinnati. They have 10 injuries, guys. 10. I mean, they're hurting in Cincinnati. But the second one is Oklahoma State. They have 5. They have one out per season, which was one of their better players. I can't remember his name. And then they have 4 others that are questionable, most likely probable for today, they said, but they're still just probable. So, yeah, West Virginia, for the most part, when it comes to injuries, we're looking really good.
That's a blessing because, as we all know, listen, football is such a violent sport. Anything can happen at any given time. But when you can go into a game and you're relatively healthy with a game like this, you need all able bodies. And that's the thing. It's interesting. As you were saying, I watched last week. There were one or two games in the Oklahoma State game last week where you can see that the depth that they're used to having in certain positions, I'm not sure if it's due to injuries, but they don't seem to have the depth that they've had in years.
NIL. Amen.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. It goes both. Wind blows both ways. You can sit there and catch the Holy Spirit in church, but you can catch that NIL win too. It'll get you. It'll bite you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you know what, Shane, I think you're 100% right, buddy. I don't know. I'm sitting back looking because I'm seeing who they're putting in and the kind of rotations that they're having in certain positions. And I'm like, well, wow, that don't look like what it was years past. So you're right.
Well, in high school ball, listen to this. My kids' team has the last senior on their team, on their varsity team, got hurt last night. Then they had sorry about that, my phone's ringing. Then they had their sophomore quarterback get his clavicle broken. So, it is the next man up. And if you're deep, you're going to win games, and that old adage, oh, that's a young team. Well, that dog doesn't hunt because there's no such thing as a young team, because every team's a young team because they're a bunch of fresh faces. These kids haven't been playing for years. So you can't just say, oh, it's a young team, we're inexperienced, or you got to just say next man up. And if you do have a little bit of depth, that's why you have to be really, really conscious about not, the ladder. You can't poop on ladder going up and down. You got to make sure you take care of those backups, make sure they're happy. The quarterback room, you got to sprinkle that sugar about and everybody has to get a little bit of reps. You understand that, Eugene, because you had a deep running back bench. You guys all got to touch the ball, and there's just enough to make everybody happy. What is that number? Well, that's a leadership challenge, and that's why they get paid the big money.
That's very true. You're 100% correct. Yep.
But now Ollie Gordon's not shown nothing this year, though, so I'm really looking forward to seeing if West Virginia can shut him down again today and put some pressure on the quarterback. Eugene, I know you can't stay long. I don't know how long you can stay, but I have somebody else in the background like to come in with us for a minute, and I'm sure he wants to talk to you, Mr. Jackson Johnson, who runs the Jacksonian. He has a channel called the Jacksonian. How you doing there, Mr. Jackson Johnson?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm staying busy with the Jacksonian, and I'm doing the Alabama postgame show on the Alabama channel later today, so that's going to be a pretty big one. How you doing today, gentlemen?
Blessed.
Good, buddy.
So I've been noticing Ollie Gordon has not had a very good year this year. He's had 334 rushing yards for the season. It's like he's been underutilized. And I know that the key to victory for West Virginia today is what Neil Brown needs to do, what he did in those last two drives against Kansas. Utilize him. Utilization is the key.
No, I agree. The funny thing is, people get on, and I'm one. Look, to me, it's all about coaching. I don't care at what level, it's all about coaching. So usually when mistakes are made, and it's made because, let's say, the defense is not they're not doing what they need to do. They're not carrying out their assignments. They have a lot of missed assignments, blown plays or whatever. I look to the sideline and I'm looking to see what we're doing as a staff to correct these mistakes. And I'm talking about in a timely manner because, you got 30 seconds, whatever the case may be. Let's get this thing fixed, right? I guarantee you this game today will come down to probably a half a quarter of each staff, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, making some key adjustments to fix some things right on the fly to win or lose this football game. And you start to see that right around now. this part of the season, you start to see teams either mature in that aspect where they're going to win games because the adjustments are made on the sideline rather quickly or at halftime, or you're going to see teams go backwards and lose games. Look at Oklahoma State the last 2 weeks and look at the amount of MAs that they've had that wasn't corrected, and they went out there and they lost some games that they probably should have won or at least been more competitive. Ollie Gordon, if you don't, he's the type of back that you keep giving him the ball, he gets better and stronger as the game go on.
Right.
Some odd reason it's the complete opposite for him. If he's not touching that ball enough, he doesn't run the same. He's not as tuned in to the game if you're not utilizing him. So I'll be honest with you. Hopefully, I hope they do underutilize him today. Please give him 5 carries.
No, that's spot on because, Oklahoma State last year, it came down, and this is what Neil Brown, I think, seemed to do as the season went on. I think those adjustments came quicker in a timelier manner, and we're talking about maybe two series that were lost midway through the season that they got to capitalize on. I don't know if it's a communication issue or just, and he's been coaching a minute. I mean, he has this, but there's that gray hair you get. And if you don't have any hair in your head, maybe it's some ear whiskers, but you get that shit. And then, it's that wisdom. And I think, Bobby Bowden left West Virginia and he had that wisdom after he learned and, a couple of those games to West Virginia's dismay that he learned, through his tenure here in Morgantown. But, I don't want Neil Brown to pack his shit, go down the road and win a national championship. So
I hear you there. So Paxton's out here telling us in the chat. He says that, and Bowman isn't very good either. He said Bowman's been a turnover machine. I was looking at Bowman's numbers today, and yeah, he has, but he's thrown. Well, I think he had 8 interceptions, I believe, and Garrett Green has 4, but Bowman's thrown twice as many passes too. So, and there's that. So there is a difference there, because Garrett Green scrambles a lot and runs. So, or we hand the ball off for a running team. So, Oklahoma State's more of a passing team. So,
when you think about it this way, when you look at the games and you look at the different things that they're trying to do to get their receivers open and all that kind of stuff, you're going to take more shots down the field than we are because we are a little bit more of a running game at this particular point. We're opening up the passing game through the running game where they come out, they want to throw the football. To me, again, if you're not riding that big horse that you have that should be a Heisman, front runner at this particular point, I think he's one of the best, probably one of the best 2 or 3 backs in the country, in my humble opinion. If you're not riding him to then open up your passing game, something's wrong with your offensive philosophy. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And it seems like Mike Gundy figures that out this time of year. He did this last year, remember, and then he figured it out against West Virginia. Now here we are in the same situation. Come on, guys, we can't get this plot can't get any thicker for this game.
I figured it out, Joey. I know what happened with Mike Gundy. I think someone swapped out without him knowing what his hair gel is. And he just doesn't have that mojo and the flow. So, hey, let me know what you switched it out with.
Hey, Shane, I like that. The mojo in the flow. I like
the flow. He got the flow. Joey, I'll tell you guys, you can laugh at this. So I had a varsity game last night. And then a JV game I just left. And Joey, my kid, Eugene, you'll know what this is called because I don't know what it's called. I know what a fumble is when you fumble it. But what happens when you go to tackle someone, you strip the ball, take it, and you run the other way? What's that called?
Wow.
That's what my kid did.
Did he score?
No. They pushed him out of bounds. No one knew he had the ball.
That's okay. But now your offense took control of the ball after that, correct?
Yeah, he got 12 yards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fumble recovery and a return on the fumble recovery.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. So I didn't know someone asked me what that was. I'm like, I don't know. It looked awesome, because I only saw that maybe once or twice, but But what I was getting to is, so they had a picture of all the seniors for this school. And it's up at Conneaut Lake. It's up towards Erie. Okay. And all this, I'm like, that mullet is just solid. That kid needs a better haircut. I'm going down the line. And at the very end, there's this picture. It looks like a supermodel. It's a girl. She's on the football team. Joey, this girl should be like on Disney or something, right?
She is. She is a really pretty girl.
It's not like someone angry, mean mugging. This girl is looks like she's doing a glamour shot. So that's what I'm saying. You don't know what's going to happen with football. She's the kicker for the team. But, I just thought, Joey, man, that's crazy. I showed my son in the car. He's like, I didn't see her.
He'd been over on the sideline talking to her the whole damn game. He wouldn't have made that fumble recovery in return. Hey, someone gave some score alerts. So the other night, Tuesday night, I believe it was, Shannon and I did a show, and I told you, watch out. Syracuse is going to upset UNLV. Well, it happened today, 44-41. Oregon beat Michigan State 31-10. Right now in the third quarter, Texas A&M is absolutely annihilating Missouri, 34-7. End of the third quarter right now, Penn State 24 and UCLA 3.
Louisville just tied at 27 apiece against SMU.
Yeah, that's the best game on right now. Is SMU and Louisville tied up at 27 apiece. My good friend Dave Brown. My good friend Dave Brown's probably having a cardiac over there. I'm probably going to give him a call after this game. So,
hey, Michigan State has an 18-year-old quarterback, guys. They're not as bad as what they look. The kid will look like dynamite for 8 plays, and 2 plays he'll just crap the sheet. So, guys, that's not indicative of how good that Michigan State offense could be if this kid sticks there for a couple years. So he's big, he's athletic, and he has an arm. I've watched a lot of Michigan State games this past year, so just got to give them a shout out. So
Grace McCall earlier was a game time decision against Wake Forest. Then he entered the game, but then earlier on he got hurt at the 19-yard line on 3rd and 11 in the first quarter with 9 minutes left in the quarter. Took a huge hit, so bad that Cart was coming in, but he gave out a peace sign. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, but I can guarantee you it's for the rest of October, and I would say the first few weeks of November. I'm not entirely sure, but it's going to be a long while.
Wow.
What about, hey guys, what about Aubrey Burks? Boy, he scared me.
Yeah, he made that huge play that tied the game for Louisville.
No, not that Burks.
Different Burks. Aubrey Burks for the West Virginia Mountaineers. He got hurt. And then they put him on a board, Jackson. And then he came back when West Virginia won. He's dancing and carrying on. I mean, I was like, oh, talk about a roller coaster ride of
yeah, because that was a scary moment.
Injured. Yeah,
I did too. I really figured that he was really injured, and give it to, hey, when something like that happens, my hat tips off to not only him as a player who brought on his strength and conditioning, but to Mike Joseph up there, who got him that way, helped him to achieve that level. Right, Eugene? I mean,
absolutely. No, Mike Joseph is one of the best in the business. For many, many years, he is one of the best in the business, and he gets you right. And it's funny, when you have a good strength and conditioning program, you're 100% correct, Joey. When something happens, God forbid, those young people bounce back a little bit quicker because of the strength and conditioning program. So all hats off, to Mike Joseph and his staff, man. It's a tremendous staff.
Yeah. Yep.
How long's Mike been there? He's been there, 18 years? Long time.
Easy. Yeah. Matter of fact, my son Brandon was there in 2012, and he was his strength and conditioning coach. Yeah, he's been there for a good little while. And again,
it would be my guess that he'll be there as long as he wants to be there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think he's a true mountaineer. I mean, I don't feel like he'll go anywhere. To be
absolutely,
honest.
Absolutely, one of the best. Definitely one of the best. But Joey, I got to jump off here. But Thank you so much, buddy, for always thinking of me and having me on your platform. Fellas, I appreciate you guys. And look, I know this. If we lose today, I may have to move out of the state of New Jersey. Because nobody talks more crap about Mountaineer football than I do in my own home state. So let me just say that. So
Hey,
you guys be praying for me that we win today, okay? Because I talk a hell of a lot of crap about this game.
yeah, you're up here. You're up here in Greg Schiano territory, and Rutgers looks pretty daggone good. They probably look a little bit better than West Virginia, to be honest. So Greg Schiano's got that program hopping.
Hey, Joey, bite your tongue. Listen, I got a big bet. Which program is going to win out and have the best record at the end of the football season, right? So a really good friend of mine graduated from Rutgers, and we're going at it right now. So I said WVU will finish up, I believe, 10-2 or 9-3. He's telling me that Rutgers is going to finish up and they're going to win the Big Ten Conference.
Oh, wow.
Those are some big britches to put on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a minute now. Hold your horses, buddy.
He does realize they're not in the ACC, right? He does realize they're not in the ACC.
How much is he betting that Rutgers going to win the Big Ten?
Dude, I tell you what we wound up doing. I don't like betting money, so I said, look, if they not even winning the Big Ten, if they have a better record at the end of the football season than WVU, I'll take you to any state. He loves steak, so any steak place in the state of New Jersey, I'll pay for it.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, we're betting steaks on this thing. But today is going to start. For me, Rutgers at Nebraska, I told everybody, that's when your season starts for me. You played St. Joe's, home of the blind. You played, Toucham University. You played Hand and Foot State. I don't care about none of that. It starts right now today.
Oh, we got some smart talking going on from Eugene there. I love that. I love it. Eugene, I appreciate you coming on. You can find Eugene over on SI with Skylar Callahan. You guys dropping a video here in the next day or two?
Yes.
Tell your friends and your family and the cashiers at Publix about the Inside the Jersey documentary from Eugene Napoleon himself. Stay tuned.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. You guys take care. I'll see you soon.
Take care. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you, Eugene.
You got it. Let's go Mountaineers. Boom.
Let's go Mountaineers.
All right. Always great to have Eugene on here. So,
man, I love having him on. He just makes you wanna run through a wall, right?
Right. He's calling for a Mountaineer victory. So, hey,
I hope it happens. I hope it does.
This is going to be a really tough game, though. I'm looking forward to the game. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be really tough. All right, so here's what I will do. I will drop a link if anybody would like to drop in with us for a second. Say hi, ask a question, make a comment. You're welcome to join us here for a second. Excuse me. Shane, take over a second.
Well, guys, it's been, this is homecoming weekend for me. So, we had homecoming. I didn't have a Thursday show because it was the bonfire and a parade. And then last night was the game. And today is actual homecoming. So a busy day in the Stottmiller household. But at 4:00, guess what's coming on the TV? And it's going to be on my phone. When I'm between taking pictures of the homecoming stuff, I'm going to be watching this Mountaineer game, guys. Yeah. It's going to be a banger.
It is. I'm really looking forward to this. Like I say, I look forward to playing Oklahoma State every year. When I was thinking of rivalries for West Virginia, when we were talking about that preseason, who do we have for rivalries? We've mentioned Oklahoma State as being one of those that may be a rivalry just simply because we need to beat them. We couldn't ever talk about getting to Oklahoma without going through Oklahoma State. And we couldn't get through Oklahoma State a lot of the time. So, I like the fact that, we're playing Oklahoma State. It matters right now. It matters for them and it matters for us. So both teams should be ready to play today, and we should have a real good football game that shows two disciplined programs going at each other, and you know, may the best man win, I guess. And I feel like it's going to be a really high scoring game. I'm going to go ahead and say I do believe West Virginia pulls out a victory today, and here's why. I talked myself into this. I was going to pick Oklahoma State, but I've talked myself into this, and here's why. Our defensive line is just a little bit better than theirs, and I don't see Ollie Gordon getting started today. I don't see that happening. I think our defensive line is that good. So I could be completely wrong on that, but I feel like Ollie Gordon's going to get his numbers. Look, when he's in the game, he's going to get his numbers. I'm not saying we're shutting him down. What I'm saying is he's not going to run wild like he did last year. This defensive line is better, so we're going to shut that part of him down, and that leaves them, with putting it in Bowman's hands, and who knows what's going to happen then. Maybe we can get an interception or two, and that would be interesting. I feel like our offense is going to have a really big day, especially like Hudson Clement, Preston Fox, the transfer that we've got from Oklahoma State, Trey. Thank God, his name slipped my mind.
Braden or something. Trey Braden.
Yeah. So I feel like they're going to have big days because I feel like Garrett Green can get the ball to them, especially when they're out there in that secondary of Oklahoma State that's been struggling. They're going to be open. There's going to be some players up and down the field today, so I feel like West Virginia is going to go down the field pretty quick. If we've shored up our secondary in the off week and got some stuff figured out back there and can stop Oklahoma State in the passing game too, we could destroy them. If we haven't, though, it's going to be a close game.
No, I'll tell you what, to tie into what you're saying, I mean, I can't think of another team other than Oklahoma State that has had the success, in the conference that West Virginia's had. I think they match up as far as the eyeball test. I think that's a fantastic rivalry. I want to ask Jackson, from not being a Mountaineer guy, being a Bama fan, what would you say the three teams that would be the best rivalry moving forward for West Virginia in the conference? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
ooh, that's a good question.
We can think out loud. So I mean, so Oklahoma State's one for me.
Well, if the news of Pittsburgh replacing Alabama's official, I think we can safely say, like, Pittsburgh being back on the docket, that is on the top three, of course. I mean, there's no debating that.
Yeah.
And he's talking about in the Big 12. Who is
in
West
the Big
Virginia's
12?
Yeah. Who would you say?
You might have been, because West Virginia's had some difficulty beating them. They've upset West Virginia a few times in their rank, at least 6-7 years ago. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the other two. Like, I like Iowa State, but I don't think they're as good of a rivalry as, say, a Kansas State would be. UCF might be a good one moving forward. I don't know. It's just
maybe like Central Florida and Cincinnati.
Yeah,
because I mean Cincinnati, if they can trim the fat off and get a better coach, they'll be good to go.
I don't think there's two more similar teams in the Big 12 from history to how they play the game than Kansas State and West Virginia. Those two programs mirror each other as far as success, as far as being powerhouses at times and to being down at the bottom sometimes, to being a good average team, right?
It's like the Don Nehlen of Manhattan, Kansas, right?
Right. Now, Kansas State didn't used to be like that. I'm talking about, West Virginia dominates as far as from 83 on back, but 86 on back, somewhere in there, wherever Bill Snyder came. So Kansas State used to be absolutely horrible, but since then they've kind of mirrored each other at a lot of times. So I think Kansas State's probably the biggest rivalry in the Big 12 for West Virginia, in my opinion.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, the Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and I don't know what the third one would be, to be determined maybe, but going back, those are pretty even matchups. But, going back to what Jackson said, you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be in conference. If you could get it on the schedule, it just makes dollars and cents. Okay. Why would you go out and have to, work so hard to get a home and home with Alabama? I know that's probably not an easy get. Also to do a home and home to say like Michigan State or, Ohio State or even Penn State, when you could get Pitt. I mean, guys, they've sold out that stadium. Here we are 3 weeks after the fact talking about it still. That the biggest attendance in that stadium's history has been a West Virginia Pitt game, 2 of them. Guys, I don't know. Can't figure it out.
Yeah, and when played in Morgantown, that was a really hot ticket, tough one to get. Just but yeah, that's just the biggest rivalry without a doubt for West Virginia and Pitt both. That's what makes it such a great rivalry. See, I think you got those rivalries like Alabama and Auburn is a rivalry, but guess what? Alabama and Georgia is a rivalry too. So is Auburn and Georgia. And so it kind of like. It's a big rivalry, obviously, but I just don't feel like it's something like a West Virginia Pitt because Pitt doesn't hate anybody more than West Virginia, and West Virginia doesn't hate anybody more than Pitt, and that just they're 45 minutes apart, guys.
Mm-hmm.
You can nearly throw a rock and hit them. They're so close. So yeah, that's a pure rivalry to me, and when you're talking out of state too, that's kind of unusual, even being an out of state one, because you can understand Clemson and South Carolina being a big, huge rivalry, or NC State, North Carolina, huge rivalry, but they're in state.
There's high schools that play that are farther apart in the state of Pennsylvania. They play in the same conference than what Pitt and West Virginia are. And put that into some, screw that around your old brain housing. Come on, guys, it's craziness.
Yep. Well, I am all ready to get ready for this game.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everybody coming on with me today. I'm ready to go. I'm going to make my prediction right now. This score is going to be really, really close, I believe. But I really believe it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to go ahead and say West Virginia wins this game 41-38. 41-38. That's going to be my prediction. All right. Jackson, what do you think?
I hope West Virginia wins, but I have like this weird feeling that this is like Oklahoma State, Kansas State from last year, where Oklahoma State just out of the blue wins this one. And it's going to be 28-24. I hope I'm wrong, but I just have that weird feeling Oklahoma State's going to win this game because like no one's really talking about them. And it was the same way with Oklahoma State, Kansas State last year. Nobody was really thinking about Oklahoma State. What do? Boom, they upset Kansas State.
Yeah.
Shane,
you're muted. Shane.
You're muted, Shane.
Oh, I think you.
Yeah, I'm going to pick real quick, and I got to pop off. It's West Virginia 34, Oklahoma State 28.
All right, sounds good. I'm predicting just a little bit higher score than that, and I hope I'm wrong because that means our defense played better, right? So I hope I'm wrong about the score. So, all right, guys, everyone have a great night. We appreciate you guys coming out. Let's go Mountaineers, and hats off. We miss you, my man, Dale Wolfley.